Shabbat Sholom. Who was here this morning?
Yeah.
Who was here last night? Who's coming back tomorrow?
Whoop, whoop.
Sunday? My office sofa does not sleep comfortably, but it does sleep if anybody wants to stay through. I speak only from experience. It's wonderful to be here. We celebrate a number of simchas tonight, but we're going to start with some opening words, or actually opening non-words, as we start with a nigun with our cantor.
Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Give it
For all
a
those
shot.
Western fans.
Right? It's called Into the West.
Yeah.
Ya la 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 la, ya la la la
Jewish
la
cowboys.
la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la ya la 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 la. Page 142, we'll continue with Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem. Boachem leshalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Melech malachei amlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Baruchuni leshalom, malachei hashalom, malachei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Zeitchem leshalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Melech malachei amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
So tonight is really a night of simcha and celebration. This morning we celebrated the receiving of Torah, the giving of Torah at Mount Sinai for the holiday of Shavuot, which is now about to end, more or less for us, second day for others. But we celebrate the simcha and the joy of Jillian being called to Torah this weekend, and we're so glad that her family is here. Who came the furthest? How far away did somebody come? Anybody? Anybody outside of Canada? Huh?
Yeah,
From where?
Chicago.
Chicago, okay. From where? Maryland. That's a little further, yeah, okay. And we also celebrate our grade 12 students. When I was growing up, we used to call this confirmation. We're still playing with names for it. We call it Siyum, which is a culmination of their Jewish education thus far. The end of a chapter, but not the end of the book. And so we'll be hearing from at least one of them tonight. We're seeing if the other is still going to make it. But presenting certificates and some gifts and blessing to a few of our students. And so we're excited for that. And just because it's Shabbat and there's air conditioning, we're excited for that also. Let's turn to page 121 for the Shabbos candle blessings. And as we do that, I don't think it's written down here. Trying to remember. I think we practiced this. Who's coming up to do the candle? Is it Jillian that's doing it? Sorry? Yes.
There we go.
Come on up. So you're read this.
As the Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
That's my fault, because it's not in Hebrew. If it had been, it would have been easier for them to read it. We're going to come over here, guys.
Come on, candle.
How many Jews does it take to light a candle?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Thank you. So I know Jillian is a dancer. Is anyone else here a dancer, into dance at all? Yeah, some people. So you may not know there's also a long tradition, a history of dance in Jewish tradition as well. In the 16th century, the mystics of Safed in Israel would go out into the open fields dressed in white, like brides or bridegrooms, and they would dance and march under the night sky to greet Shabbat. They imagined that Shabbat was like a bride and our Kabbalat Shabbat service like a spiritual wedding ceremony. When we get to Lechadodi, in a few minutes, we'll rise and greet the Sabbath bride, just as we would for a bride walking down the aisle. So with that spirit of the mystics of Tzfat, we begin with words of praise and celebration on page 131 with Shiru Ladonai, Psalm 96. Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Shemo, Basru miyom leyom Yeshuato, Sapru v'goyim kevodo, Bechol ha'amim nifleotav ki gadol Adonai, umhulal meod, norau al kol Elohim, Page 133, Mizmor Shiru. Mizmor Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Ki Niflaot Asa, Hoshia Lo Yamino Zroa, Kodshodia, Adonai Yeshuato, Leine Agoim Gilad Simkato, Zachar Chasto Ve'olato, Leveit Yisrael, Ra'u top of 134, Zamru Ladonai, just the first two lines. Zameru Ladonai bechinor, bechinor vekozimra. Zameru Ladonai bechinor, bechinor vekozimra. Zameru, zamru, Ladonai. Zameru, zamru, Ladonai. From the top. Zameru Ladonai bechinor, bechinor vekozimra. Zameru Ladonai bechinor, bechinor vekozimra. So we turn now to page 138 for this liturgical poem, or piyut, Lechadodi, where we will greet the Sabbath bride. Oh, Lechadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Oh, Lechadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Verse 1. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmianu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, leshem u'tiferet ve'litila. Oh, lechadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Oh, lechadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Verse 2. Likrat Shabbat lecho b'nelcha, ki mekor hameracha. Merosh mikedem nesucha, sof maaseh b'machshavat tchila. Oh, lechadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Oh, lechadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Mikdash melech, ir melucha, kumitzei mitoch hafecha. Rav lach shevet b'mekabecha, ve'u yachamol alayich chemla. Oh, lechadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Oh, lechadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Verse 5. Hitoreri, hi ba'orech kum biori. Uri, shir daveri, kevod Adonai alayich nigla. Oh, lechadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Oh, lechadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Rise and face the entrance for the last verse. Boi v'shalom, ateret bala, gam besimcha u'betola. Toch emunei am segula, boi chala, boi chala.
be seated. We'll continue page 140 with one more song as we welcome Shabbat, Mizmor Shir.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. מזמור שיר, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, וזמר לשמך עליון, וזמר לשמך עליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך ללילות. From the top. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, וזמר לשמך עליון, וזמר לשמך עליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות. Last time. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני.
I feel warmed up for Shabbat.
Me too.
Yeah, good. Jillian, are you warmed up? You ready? Because this is your moment. So we're going to turn to page 263. As we rise for Chatzi Kaddish, we invite Jillian to join us on the bima to help lead the rest of our service.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה,
אמן.
ועלמא דברי חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון ויומכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בגלה בגלה, ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעולם עולם ועמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה, שמי דקודשא בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמא ויאמרו אמן.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach.
Baruch Adonai hamborach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam va'ed.
Please be seated. Continue on page 265 with Ma'ariv Aravim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, bechokma poteach she'arim, uvitvunach meshane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umaseder et hakochavim, b'mishmarotechem kier kirtzono, ure yom v'layla golel or mipnei choshech, choshech mipnei or. Umavi Laila, Umabdil Ben Yom Uvin Laila, Adonai Tzevaot Shemo. El Chai Vekayam, Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Leolam Va'ed, Baruch Atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael, Amcha Chavta, Torah Mitzvot, Ukimu Mishpatim, Otanu Lilmadeta. Al Ken Adonai Eloheinu, ושוכבנו ובקומנו, נשיא בחוקך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך, לעולם לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגד יומם ולילה, ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל.
אמן.
שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, ושיתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיהם. אני אדוני אלוהיהם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיהם.
אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Continue responsively as Jillian leads us on page 269 in the English.
We worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all.
Yet that oneness eludes our grasp as imperfection and evil abound.
Before our eyes there is a vision of perfection, order, and goodness.
There is evil enough to break the heart, and there is good enough to exalt the soul.
When will redemption come?
When we grant everyone what we claim for ourselves.
Long ago we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High.
We learn God's presence redeems time and event, so we celebrate this power that makes for freedom.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש. נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים, זה עליינו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך, לעולם ועד. ונאמר, כיבד אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
Page 271.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני, הבורא סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל.
sing together for Shabbat on page 272, the bottom of that page, Yismechu.
ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת וקורא עונג שבת. מקדשי, מקדשי שבי שבת. כולם יצאו ויתענגו מטובך שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת וקורא עונג שבת. והשביעי רצית בו וקידשת לו שבת. חמדת ימים אותו קראת שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת וקורא עונג שבת. זכר למעשה בראשית שבת. זכר למעשה בראשית שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת וקורא עונג שבת.
We'll rise now together as we prepare for the Amidah, beginning on page 273.
Adonai sfatai tiftach, Adonai sfatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha, ufi yagid tehilatecha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, Elion, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, v'Koneh Hakol, v'Zocher Hasei Avot v'Imaot, Umevi Gula Livnei v'Nehem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach Umagen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai, Mechaye Metim Atarav Leoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechakel Hayim Bechesed, Mechaye Metim Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofech Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Gevurot, Umito Melach, Melech Memit, Umechaye, Umatzmiya Yeshua, V'neman atah l'chayot metim, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hametim.
Page 276.
אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
Amen.
You may be seated. Yasher Koach, Jillian, did fantastic. Very, very proud, and looking forward to having you lead us a little bit at the very end of the service. But for now, we will continue with this next part of the tefillah as we turn to page 279, Ritzeh.
Ritzeh Adonai Eloheinu ve'amecha Yisrael u'tefilatam le'ava tekabel u'tehile ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael Yisrael amnecha el karov lechol korav penei el avadecha v'choneinu shefach ruchacha aleinu v'techez einayneinu v'shuvecha leTzion ברחמים ברוך אתה אדוני המחזיר שכינתו לציון
For our blessings of the moments in our lives, we give thanks for all of them, for the obvious ones and the subtle ones that can too often pass us by. We'll pause now to maybe take a moment to think about the blessings that you're feeling especially grateful for and noticing on this Shabbat. And then we'll join together 4 lines from the bottom of page 280, Va'al nisecha shebechol yom imanu.
ועל ניסך שבכל יום ערב הבוקר, ערב הבוקר וצהריים, מעולם קיווינו לך, מעולם קיווינו לך, הטוב כי לא חלו רחמך, והמרחם כי לא תמו חסדיך, מעולם קיווינו לך, מעולם קיווינו לך.
Prayer for peace in our world on page 282, Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Ki ata melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata melech adon lechol hashalom, shalom rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam, Tasim le'olam, Tasim le'olam.
Take some time now as individuals for our own silent prayer.
Adonai tzori, Adonai tzori, megoali, megoali.
We'll turn ahead in our siddurim to page 371. We might offer a prayer of healing and mishaberach for those in our community who are in need of healing of body and of spirit. In particular, this Shabbat, we think of Stephanie Stanberg, Ronnie Margulies, Sarah Chiachi, Yaakov ben Yosef Abatya, Michael Cohen, Reuven ben Zlota Venachman, Ron Mintz, Lynn Curson, Matt Skirschman, Wendy and Roger Seelig, Yaakov Eliezer ben Kalev Paula, Susan Mishler, Natalie Wormelli, Yumkin Godin, Tzemach ben Menashe Halevi Varikla, Meir Tzvi, Meir Zalman ben Rachel, Daniel Gottesman, Bill Shaw, Claire Columbia, Carla Zivet, Janet Gelb, David Shlomo Gorney, and Andrea Jarsbiak. I invite you, if there are other people in your life you are thinking of in need of a blessing of healing, if you would, to stand and share their name at this time.
Misheberach Avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Rabbi Brown. Thank you, Cantor Cohen. Thank you, Jillian, for leading such a lovely opening to our service. Tell them I'll take a message. Just to share a quick announcements with you. Hopefully you saw the handout as you came in. Tomorrow night is the 27th. Yes, tomorrow night our grade 4 through 7 students have a rolla skate party at 5 o'clock at the Rolla Skate Club. So if you're interested in that, you can find out more information online. Grade 4 through 7. Next week, on next Friday night, June 2nd, we have Shabbat in the park. That's at 5:45 at Grays Park. There's still an 8 o'clock service here. Join our sisterhood on Sunday, June 4th at 11 a.m. for the Low Tide Walk at Spanish Banks. Join our East Side Jews group for their summer kickoff barbecue, also on Sunday the 4th at 4 p.m. So you can walk at Spanish Banks, go home, shower, take a nap, and then do a barbecue at 4 o'clock at Trout Lake. And if you're not totally wiped out after that, the following Friday, our sisterhood is celebrating the installation of their new board and the presentation of the Jan Pollock Award, and there'll be a dinner. That's at 6:30. Mary Kleiner is this year's very deserving recipient. The temple has our annual general meeting on June 20th. You can attend that in person or via Zoom. And then lastly, something I'm personally very excited about, so the weekend-ish, over Labor Day weekend, September 3rd through 6th, is the Kosher Catch, which is our Jewish fishing retreat outside of Kamloops. So join us for some fly fishing or regular gear fishing. You don't have to have any prior experience. We will teach you how to fish. We will not necessarily teach you how to catch, but we will teach you how to fish. It's really an adult retreat. Any gender is welcome, but there will be adult conversation and adult beverages, as one is wont to do with fishing. So that's who that is for. Any other announcements? Okay. So I wanted to share some words of Torah with you this evening before we invite Xander to share with us some reflections on his Jewish education experience. And then we're going to say on behalf of your whole class, as Xander had the courage and also the good health to be here tonight. One of your classmates got sick, and we hope that Miriam has a refuah shlema. Rabbi Lawrence Kushner tells of a time that he brought a nursery school class into the synagogue sanctuary, kind of just like this, for a tour. We do those, by the way, all the time for preschool groups and Catholic high schools and those kinds of things. But this was a Jewish group of preschool kids, and he showed them the bima. He showed them the Ner Tamid, the light above the ark. He showed them the cantor's amud, the rabbi's amud. And finally, the tiny kids stood before the doors of the Aron HaKodesh, the Holy Ark. And he asked them, he says, who do you suppose, or what do you suppose is in there? He asked these 5, 6-year-old students. Nothing, one child answered. It's empty. A new car, shouted another, who had probably just seen Oprah or something. An old Torah, a very, very old Torah, responded another. I know, one child said. A mirror. Each of the kids was right. For Jews distant and disconnected from Judaism, that first child was right. The ark is empty. Judaism is alien and barren of meaning and substance. For others, Judaism holds only a superficial aesthetic appeal. It's all bar mitzvah parties, lox and bagels on Sunday morning, and what you'll be wearing on Yom Kippur and watching Seinfeld reruns. Religion as cultural entertainment, a warm, ethnic sentimentality without ethical or spiritual demands. For some, Judaism is a tired, old, depleted faith, an old Torah. They hear in it nothing important for a modern mind, and what they do hear is interpreted as misogynistic, racist, or just coldly legalistic. But for those who are prepared to look deeply and imaginatively, the ark contains a mirror, reflecting the truth about ourselves, our values, our accomplishments, and our limitations. Menachem Mendel, the Kutzker rabbi, the Kutzker Rebbe, taught that the uniqueness of Hasidism was this. All Jews, he said, are taught you should not lie. But Hasidic Jews, Lubavitcher Jews, those that are imbued with a passion for the faith that is deeply rooted in the aesthetics of their soul, the expression of their soul, they are taught you should not lie to yourself. It is this reflexive turn, the turn inward, that characterizes the Kutzker's Torah. And I first learned this wonderful insight when studying with Rabbi Harold Kushner of blessed memory at a Tikkun Leil Shavuot, not unlike what we had here last night, a number of years ago in Los Angeles. Rabbi Schulweis of blessed memory proposed this reflexive turn as a way to hear the Ten Commandments anew each year on Shavuot, which we read this morning. He turned each commandment inward and challenged us to look deeply into the mirror of Torah. The sixth commandment, for example, teaches you shall not murder. Within this is the commandment, you shall not murder yourself. What are all the ways that we daily murder ourselves? You shall not steal from yourself. When do we steal from ourselves? What do we steal from ourselves? And how do we make restitution to ourselves? You shall not commit adultery against yourself. How have we adulterated ourselves? How have we betrayed sacred principles, practicing moral promiscuity and spiritual unfaithfulness? You shall not bear false witness to yourself, against yourself. When do we offer false testimony about ourselves or to ourselves? Why? Why do we do that? You shall not covet yourself. We covet when we simply cannot live knowing that a neighbor has possessions and a position that aren't ours. We covet ourselves when we simply cannot live without all that was once ours but isn't anymore. What are the attachments to the past that hold us back from the present, from living for the future? Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Where is the sanctified Sabbath within you? Where in your life is a place of peace? Where is your shalom? Where is your haven and refuge from competition and conflict? Honor your mother and father within you. What does it mean to carry a father's love or a mother's wisdom within yourself? What has become of the fatherly and motherly in you? You shall not take the Lord's name, your God, in vain. What were the promises and commitments that I once made to myself that were subsequently broken and ignored or allowed to slip quietly into lazy neglect? You will have no other gods before me, including yourself. When have I made myself the measure of all things and the center of the universe? When have I made an idolatry of myself? I am the Lord your God. Where is the image of God, the B'Tselem Elohim within you? Can you find it? Can you see it? What have I done with that precious gift? This morning, as I said, on the festival of Shavuot, we celebrated receiving the gift of Torah and the giving of the gift of Torah, the mirror of our souls. It is ours, but only if we are brave enough to look deeply and honestly within and to allow what we see there to move us towards action, to look in the mirror of Torah. The Hasidic master once asked his students, what is the most important moment in all of Jewish history? And the students readily answered, the moment that God gave us Torah on Mount Sinai, the day the Holy Temple was built, when the great Maimonides, the Rambam, sat down and wrote the code of Jewish law. No, said the rabbi. No, my students. The greatest moment in Jewish history is now, this moment. All of these moments, all of those moments, they were great, but they mean nothing if they have no place in this moment. They mean nothing if we can't speak of them in the present tense. This moment right now is the greatest moment in Jewish history. Shavuot, of course, is not only about history, it's not only about receiving Torah at Mount Sinai. Long ago, in the words of Judith Plaskow, we are all standing again at Sinai, right now. Xander and his classmates, in a more immediate sense, you stand on the cusp of a new chapter in your life. university, and all that is beyond. We must insist on the importance of this moment. You're standing at Sinai, and we are standing at Sinai. And we are looking not up at a mountain, but into a mirror, and we see ourselves. We must insist that Torah be read in the present tense, not about yesterday, but about today and tomorrow. The essential question is not what was or what is, but what ought to be. The question is not what the synagogue is, but what the synagogue ought to be. Not what the world is, but what the world ought to be. Not who we are, but who we aspire to become. This is Sinai. This is our Sinai moment. This is the power of the Torah and its commandments as a mirror in our lives. To demand that we see ourselves, that we see our responsibilities in the commandments of Torah. May it be our life. May it lengthen our days. Amen. And so we invite Xander to look into the mirror of a Jewish education. No pressure. And to share with us some thoughts and reflections on this moment.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
As a madrich at Temple Sholom, I've always felt valued. That sense of value and trust is the foundation of my Jewish identity. Week after week, every Sunday, I was given the opportunity to explore and learn about Judaism, not as a student, but as a leader. The confidence I gained has allowed me to advocate for my ideas, and the Temple Shalom Hebrew School community has always been respectful and open. I've been able to build a deep connection to the community and feel a true sense of belonging. I believe this is who I am as a Jew, a respected and respectful member of a community that works together to understand and learn what it means to be on this Jewish journey together. I have made countless memories in the Madrich program at Temple Shalom, from laughter with lifelong friends, baking too much rugula week after week, and playing music in the Ruach Rally, to my yearly role dressing up as Nachshon for the telling of the Passover story. Most importantly, my Jewish identity allows me to see the world through a Jewish lens and has given me the insight and skill I can use beyond the walls of Temple Shalom and the forested foothills of Camp Kelsman. I have gained the ability to tap into my compassionate side. To tap into my compassionate side, apply the confidence I have fostered, and see the importance of Tikkun Olam everywhere. For example, at UBC, I will be studying bioeconomics, science, and technology, a program that focuses on developing sustainable resources and technologies for biomass conservation, bioenergy, and bioproducts, all things we will need to save the world. Additionally, for a graduation requirement at my school, I was able to tap into my inner Nachshon and bravely complete an 18-month capstone project that took me out of my comfort zone. I learned American Sign Language over Zoom and joined the Deaf Bowling League of Greater Vancouver to immerse myself and become fluent in ASL. Becoming a member of a community that speaks a completely different language has its challenges, and I credit my success to the foundations of value and trust I have experienced throughout my years at Temple Shalom. I am extremely grateful for the guidance from our clergy at Temple Shalom. Rabbi Dan, Rabbi Brown, and Cantor Cohen, as well as Jen Jaffe and Annette Kozicki, have played an integral role in my Jewish journey. I know I chose to go to UBC because I'm excited about the specific program I'll be studying, but staying in Vancouver and close to the Temple Shalom community is a huge bonus. Thank you, and I'll be here in Vancouver, so I'll see you around Temple.
So, Xander, we have a gift and a certificate to present to you, and some also for your classmates in absentia, and a gift for some of our grade 12 students. But I want to give Jen Jaffe, without actually giving her any warning whatsoever, just an opportunity to talk just a bit about our Madrichim program. And
Literally no warning.
Literally no warning, but I know you can do it. And to present you with your certificate of completion.
Perfect. This was our biggest year yet. We had 27 amazing teens like Xander who were willing to wake up early on a Sunday and come help all the kids. And he doesn't toot his own horn, but he sees a problem and he fixes it. So this year, for example, he noticed some of our soft plastic recycling wasn't going to the right place, so he said, never mind, I'll just do it on my own. So every week he goes around class to class, do you have any garbage I can recycle? And he takes it on his own. So thank you for that and for caring about our planet and our shul. For anybody in grade 10 to 12, we love to have you come in, learn kind of how to teach, but also just learn more about your Jewish education, because sometimes when you're going through it as a kid, you don't pick up all the stuff, and that's okay. But Jillian, I'm looking at you. When you come back, because you're coming back in grade 10, you'll get to learn lots more. Okay, Xander, this is for you. This says you've finished, but you haven't finished your Jewish education, just this part up until grade 12. This is for you.
Thank you.
And these are all the same, I'm guessing. This is for you as well. And Miriam, we're thinking of you. Sam also and Cece were integral in our Madrachim program, and we thank them for their work. And Zoe is here too. Do you want to come up and get your gift as well?
So Zoe and Xander, we want to wish you only success and meaning in your studies and in all the experiences of your life ahead. To bring light to that experience, the gift, not to ruin it for you, but the gift that's in your hand is a set of travel Shabbat candlesticks. You can use a little votive candle to do them, and hopefully safely in your dorm room or wherever, you'll light the Shabbos candles and remember our community and look into the mirror of your Jewish life. So we want to invite you to come before the Ark for a blessing with Rabbi Brown and Cantor Cohen and myself, and I'll ask the congregation to please rise.
Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha.
Ken Yehi Ratzon. May God bless you and keep you.
Yaher Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka.
Ken Yehi Ratzon.
May God's light shine upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'asem lecha. Shalom, shalom.
Ken Yehi Ratzon. May God always be with you through all of life's journeys and grant you the greatest blessing of all, that of wholeness and completion, the blessing of shalom, of peace, and a world and a home and a family filled with peace. And we say together, Amen.
Amen.
We remain standing. We'll turn to page 586 as we continue with Elenu. And Zoe and Xander are going to do the doors of the ark, so you can stand next to them, but don't close them yet.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, latet gdula leotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוצר הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום להשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת, אין עוד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
be seated.
Mazel tov, Xander and Zoe and your families. We are going to turn now, as we do before the end of our service, our thoughts turn towards memory. And I invite you to turn to page 594 in the siddur for a poem before the mourner's Kaddish. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch, a fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be and oh to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing, to love what death has touched. As we turn to the words of the Mourner's Kaddish on 598. We share the names of those in our community who've died recently and at this time in years past. And I invite you, if you are here to remember a loved one, to please stand as I read their name out loud. We're in Shloshim for Alex Buckman, Matthew Good, Goldie Casson, Adele Kirkle, and Jerry Lampert. And we mark yahrzeit this week for Gazella Balint, Katana Barnett, Kim Bennett, Zalman Bild, Julius Blutstein, Abe Brody, Irving Brown, Robert David Barry Bullock, Max Chiswick, Esther Commissaro, Fanny Dworkin, Marvin Langman Elson, Sarah Etkin, Robert David Fiedler, Ruth Fraser, Martha Friedlander, Max Fugman, Riva Gerdell, Clara Columbia, Sarah Leah Gordon, Harold Henry, Joseph Jampol, Yitzchak Kipnis, Julius Kurson, Dr. Morris Corman, Jenny Kusin, Jacob Leinbird, Dr. Albert Lepowski, Irving Levinson, Herbert Lewis, Emily Lubell, Nedra Morton, Henya Perel, Beatrice Pitters, Bertha Polsky, Ron Rodberg, Arthur Rose, David Rubenstein, Leah Schneider, Rosalind Schwartz, Gertrude Shapiro, Mel Shipman, Albert Steiner, Leo Vines, Benny Warhaft, Alan Wilder, Shirley Kornblum-Zaks, Harold Zlotnick. There are other names to share for Kaddish, those whose names we have missed, or those who are in the first year of mourning. If you would stand and share the name of your loved one. We stand beside those who mourn as one congregation. Invite those who choose to join in these words of Kaddish, again, page 598. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala v'zman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'alam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yit'alev v'yit'alal shmei dekudsha b'richu. Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Yehi zichronam livracha. May their memories always be a blessing. We say together, Amen. Amen. So we're going to remain standing. I want to invite Jillian to join Cantor Cohen in the front there to do Kiddush and Hamotzi. I also want to invite Jillian's dad, Steve, and Tanya, who are going to lead our closing song, to join us on the bima. We'll mention that following our service, we'll invite everyone to please join us in the social hall for an Oneg Shabbat sponsored by Jillian's family. And just want to give a special shout out to Judy Lossberg, who's here in the back, who helped make all of our cheesecakes. So enjoy.
Vahi erev, vahi voker, yom hashishi, vayechulu hashamayim, v'ha'aretz, v'chol tzevam, vayechal Elohim bayom hashvi, melachto asher asa, vayishbot bayom hashvi, mikol melachto asher asa, vayevarach Elohim et yom hashvi'i, vayekadesh oto, Kivo Shabbat mikol melachto, asher bara Elohim la'asot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzav anu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'ratzon, v'nhilanu, Zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, ki vanu v'charta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, ve'shabbat kodshecha, Be'ahava uratzon minhaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem mi'haaretz.
I'm going to invite you all to sit down so that you can actually see Steve play the guitar. I know he does, but this will be, evidence.
Schnirele perele gildene von Meshiach ben David sitz oibnon. Halta becher in der rechter Hand, macht a Broche auf dem ganzen Land. O Yomen ve Yomen, das ist Woch, Meshiach wird kommen, einziges Jahr. Amen ve Amen, das ist wahr. Meshiach wird kommen, einziges Jahr. Schnirele perele gildene von Meshiach ben David sitz oibnon. Halta becher in der rechter Hand, macht a Broche auf dem ganzen Land. O Yomen ve Yomen, das ist Woch, Meshiach wird kommen, einziges Jahr. O Yomen ve Yomen, das ist Woch, Meshiach wird kommen, einziges Jahr. Weder kommen zuvorn, will sein gute Jahren. Weder kommen zu reiten, wollen sein gute Zeiten. Weder kommen zu gehen, wollen die Jiden in Eretz Israel einstehen. Schnirele perele gildene von Meshiach ben David sitz oibnon. Halta becher in der rechter Hand, macht a Broche auf dem ganzen Land. O Yomen ve Yomen, das ist Woch, Mashiach wird kommen, einziges Jahr. Oh, Jomen, Jomen, das ist Wort. Mashiach wird kommen, einziges Jahr. Oi, Schnirele, Perele, Gildene von. Mashiach ben David sitzt, oi ben Don. Halt a Becher in der rechter Hand, macht a Broche auf dem ganzen Land. Oh, Jomen, Jomen, das ist Wort. Mashiach wird kommen, einziges Jahr. Oh, Jomen, Jomen, das ist Wort. Mashiach wird kommen, einziges Jahr.
Yasher Koach. You can take the Jew out of the shtetl, but not the shtetl out of the Jew. Stephen and Tanya, thank you so much. Thank you. I want to thank Stephen and Michelle also for sponsoring our oneg, which you are now invited to enjoy in our social hall. Shabbat Shalom.